On set.
Good morning, Cyril.
Good morning, Florence. You've been reading the papers. Let's see what's grabbing headlines here in France. A lot of papers are focusing on President François Hollande, which is not really a first, happens often. Despite his best efforts, he's still very low in opinion polls.
That's right. He's been such a busy man these last couple of weeks. He was all over the diplomatic front. He did win some kudos for the role he played in getting the Greek bailout. Also getting the Iranian nuclear deal, but the hard work hasn't paid off. You can see here the front page of Le Figaro. Hollande's activism hasn't had an impact on his popularity. He's still incredibly unpopular. And if we take a look at the latest figures, you can read them in Le Figaro. 77% of people say they're unhappy with his policies, and 75% of them don't want him to run again in 2017.
So it's not just about being at the center of everything. It's actually about doing things that French voters will give you credit for. According to Le Figaro, the main problem is France's persistently high unemployment rate.
That's right. And you just got a sneak peek there at the editorial in Le Figaro that says that on the one hand, you have Hollande. He's this serial optimist. That's what Le Figaro likes to call him. And these days, it's almost as if he's walking on water. You can see his euphoria in his eyes, but why the slap in the face with these latest opinion polls? It's because French people, real French people, live in real life. They're neither deaf nor dumb. They just see the figures, what they see as a president who's not doing anything to fix the country's long list, a long black list of problems, and chief among these problems is unemployment.
All right, and the business daily Les Echos now focusing on another problem, one that could also cause Hollande some problems later on down the line.
That's right. Now, this story might seem a little boring for some readers, but it's actually a very interesting story. The government has decided to lower the interest rate for the Livret A from 1% to 0.75%.
That's the most popular savings account used by French people.
Absolutely. It's France's favorite all-purpose saving account. It's tax-free, instantly accessible, available to all. It's incredibly popular. It's also a hot-button issue here. So essentially, what the government is doing is lowering the interest rate. For the first time in history, it's going to be below 1%. Now, the government says that this decrease will allow it to invest in public housing, but anytime the government touches this sacred cow, this very important savings account, well, it sparks outrage among defenders of purchasing power. Now, Les Echos, the business paper, is actually applauding the government's decision for deciding to lower the interest rate because it actually pulls out its calculator and does the math. What is this decrease in the interest rate actually going to change for people? Well, it's going to, on average, going to mean that people will lose 65 cents a month. So that's not even the price of a baguette here in France. And so Les Echos says this is a good decision. This is a step in the right direction.
Still, though, you're losing money when you put money in a savings account, you know, and it's been the contrary, or it's been supposed to be the contrary for decades here in France. Pro-business paper L'Opinion also thinks it's a good idea to lower the interest rate on this particular account.
That's right. L'Opinion says finally the government is starting to get realistic about savings, and L'Opinion says the Livret A is really outmoded. It's this sacred cow that really needs overhauling. But not just the Livret A. France's complete savings system needs to be overhauled. But there are those who applaud the government system, and there are also those who are alarmed by this decision. If we take a look at the front page of Le Parisien, pretty alarming here. How can we save our savings? Now, this may not be a huge decrease according to Aujourd'hui en France, but the more you add up these small little cuts here, these small little cuts there, it ends up making a huge difference. And Le Monde agrees, and it's an article today. It says this is going to make a huge difference, especially for low-income families who have no other savings option than the Livret A. And you can see here this title of this article. It says that consumer associations are calling this a really disappointing decision.
What is Libération focusing on today? They're looking at the incredible story, we just covered this earlier in the news item, of a French teenager who's effectively been cured of HIV.
That's right. Now, this young woman was infected at birth. She received a treatment until she was about 6 years old, and then she stopped receiving the treatment. And about 12 years later, she shows no sign of an active infection. Doctors don't really know why she's in remission, but her story really gives hope to finding a cure, and that's what Libération has on its front page today. In fact, what's interesting is her story has spurned the largest trial forever to trying to find a cure, a permanent cure for HIV. Libération, in its editorial, says that this is a fight that needs to be waged. It's a very expensive fight. At least 30 billion euros a year are needed for scientists to hope to eradicate the virus by 2030. Now, what's important, according to Libération, is also for the government to continue its information campaigns. Some very interesting statistics today. Here in France, between 5,000 and 6,000 people are infected every year. And this is really interesting. 50,000 people don't even know that they carry the virus.
All right, Florence Villeminot with the Daily Press Review. Thank you very much. You've got more. We don't have time for it right now, but we'll see you very soon with another press review on France 24. Thanks for watching. We're back in just a moment.